What strikes you as our biggest needs right now from a data perspective? Is it just the analysis, or are you seeing broader data needs in like the NFT space?
Yeah, I think it's specific to each ecosystem. I think with Ethereum, the toughest challenge for developers is that listings live off chain across multiple or marketplaces. So there's a fragmentation in terms of the process to go get the listings from LooksRare and go get them from OpenSea. With Coinbase NFT, it's still early on, so most people don't have access to those listings on certain in terms of like I guess like the real vision for Web3 and blockchain would be that the data is accessible, not just sales and transfers and whatnot, but also the
Why?
listings themselves.
Yeah, why
So
do they live off chain? Like, can you explain that a little further? Because I think I've heard about that with OpenSea, but
mhm.
I don't think that's widely understood.
Yeah, so the rationale on Ethereum is that fees are somewhat expensive, right? So in order to list or cancel or mint an NFT, you're generally paying a transaction fee of tens or in very busy times hundreds of dollars. So the idea with sort of these lazy listings or sort of off-chain transactions is we're going to delay that cost until the item actually sells. So when you list something on OpenSea, you're not paying a transaction fee to list until the sale goes through and they've already sort of match made your order. So if and I think that's why there's advantages to Solana and Flow where the transaction fees are somewhat negligible, so you can do things on chain, and that allows builders to kind of rally around that and use that data. But the short answer is that it saves people money. You can mint NFTs risk free on OpenSea because you're not paying a transaction fee until somebody buys the asset.
And so that would be why a lot of applications, I don't want to say all, but a lot of applications rely on the OpenSea API. Is it because they're actually sharing the current data around floor prices, listings, because it doesn't live on chain, and so that's why we need the API?
Yeah, and I would say because OpenSea's API is rate limited, and obviously, I mean, they're doing an excellent job, but there's a ton of people who want access to that information. A lot of people don't even use the API. Maybe they just scrape directly from the front end or use other sort of methods to collect that. But yeah, I think that's probably the biggest challenge there. And then in terms of Flow, just being sort of like an earlier ecosystem that obviously has massive brands on it. So there's sort of compromises in terms of being decentralized that they've made and are hoping to kind of ease more decentral over time. But yeah, I would say each ecosystem has their own drawbacks, but there's a lot of very smart people building in each of them, and I think we'll see a lot of progress. But yeah, I think. Yeah, that kind of to me sums up sort of the challenges on the data side, and it's really important. I think the more sort of access developers have to data, that's important, like listings data and sales and transfers and whatnot. Even images are really tough, right? Like if you're a site like ours where you have tens of millions of assets, it's tough to like locally store all those images, and there's certain developers who are building solutions for that. But yeah, the more access that you have to like the actual NFT data, both on sort of the market side and also sort of at the like property trait side, whether it's images or what attributes those NFTs have, the better experiences people can build in terms of like what shortages there are. I think a lot of people are creating projects because it's a good way to make a lot of money very fast. I think it would be better for the ecosystem if there was more builders building experiences that take assets from all of these different collections and unify them, whether it's sort of trading and things like that, or gaming, or even social. So I think that's something that is what we can look forward to in a couple of years is when there's developers building sort of these applications that allow these different collections to interact with each other or trade.
Yeah, no, totally. It is when almost all of my day-to-day NFT experiences are going to OpenSea, going to places like Evaluate, looking at it's really like it's so trade heavy, and I'm excited for it to be a little bit more social, a little bit more experience based. But it's definitely, I feel like Yuga is a good example with, all right, they dropped their token, they dropped their land, and everyone's like, okay, shoot, you did everything that top PFP projects should do. Now what? Now we're just like, everyone's like, what's next? And there's this massive uncertainty, and sure, there's things on the roadmap, but it's almost very uncertain around what you do while you wait when you have your NFT. And so having more experiences or tools to access, resources to dive into would be helpful. You're listening to the Unstoppable Podcast, the go-to place for everyone to learn about the latest innovations in Web3, NFTs, and the decentralized web. Welcome to the metaverse.